Welcome to the Fierce and Feral podcast. You guys, we have a really awesome, and I can't even, you guys, I can't right now. You can probably feel my energy coming right through the microphone because I'm so excited to have this beautiful guest on today. You can't see her, I can, but you better go check her out on Instagram, Courtney. I found her. The universe just kind of brought her right into me, and we jumped on a call today. Never really talked before much. We just both felt very called to just jump on and chat. And we already just started talking. So we're like, no. We got to stop and we're going to start recording and just see where we go. So welcome, Courtney.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, to say that the vibes are really high right now is like an understatement. We just clicked so hard. We had to press pause and get on here ASAP.
Yeah, it's like attracts like, you guys. And if we're going to be chatting all things manifestation, who knows where we go and end up. But it's so funny how like attracts like so much, because we both were fitness coaches and shifted into the manifestation and spiritual mindset stuff. And it's so cool. Tell us a little bit about how manifestation found you.
So manifestation, when did it specifically find me? I would say like 10 years ago, but I fought it for a while.
Same.
Yeah. I fought it for a while because I was like, no, thoughts don't become things, or else I would have everything that I desire. And the law of attraction, can't work for me, or manifestation in general can't work for me. And it's like, no, it works for everyone. It already exists and it's already working.
It's working now. Yeah.
It's working right now. And it's either working for you. I don't like to say against you, but it's either working for you or against you, essentially. And so once you crack that code, I would say, like, out of all my manifestation wins, my biggest one ever was a specific manifestation when I was manifesting success in my business, Never Settle Sister. And I was quantum leaping from, 10 to 15K months, trying to get my first 30K cash month, wrote it on my board, future scripting, did the work, you know what I mean? Did the inner work. And I picked a time, at midnight, the clock strikes midnight. I'm going to have this specific amount, and this is a specific amount of women, because I'm a specific manifestor in human design. And it happened down to the very minute. I got my last client at 11 p.m. I don't think she knows who she is or that she's part of that big story, but that was a year ago. And that was when I was really that was when I completely transitioned.
I'm about to geek out because, human design. I was like, oh, tell me all the things human design about. I have a whole episode. If you guys haven't listened, go back. Well, I mean, the quality's not that great when it comes to audio, but I have a whole episode where I interviewed a human design person, and she read my whole chart.
What are you?
I'm a generator.
Ooh, I love it.
Gosh, what's I always confuse my profiles with my fiance's. She's a reflector, so that's always.
Ooh, 100% of the population. I have one client that's a reflector, and I'm just like
still learning things. It's hard. But
I studied human design for 20 years and still not.
Oh, it's an endless array of knowledge for sure. It was the most validating thing and experience for me, because my incarnation cross, my life's purpose is to help people fall in love with themselves through using life force energy. And I'm a Reiki energy healer. So it was like,
God.
Yeah, it made me cry.
Yeah.
There's so many things about human design that I was just like, oh my God. She was like, yeah, your job is to make people fall in love with themselves. So it doesn't necessarily mean motivational speaking or this or that. And I'm like, my goal is to be a motivational speaker. Like, that's what I do.
Oh my gosh.
Human design is the coolest thing. And I actually use it as a tool with my clients to help sync their business with their energy cycle.
Yes. Yeah. I use it with my clients too. I love reading their arrow profiles. That's the one thing that I'm getting really deep into right now.
I know nothing about that, so you'll have to teach me a little bit about that sometime.
Okay, there's so much design that I have not even, again, you could study it. It was the first, I remember opening up my mind, my body graph for the first time and being like,
yeah,
oh, what is this?
It's
avenue, right? It's just another avenue in the personal development realm that makes you feel so seen and so heard. And same thing with manifestation. You have to take everything that you learn, horoscopes, all that stuff, with a grain of salt. But when something hits hard, like yours did and mine did, when I found out I was a projector, you just feel so seen.
Oh, you're a projector. So you had to wait for the invitation to come on the podcast.
Yes, right? I had to sit there and wait.
Yeah, I'm a generator. Generate all of the energy. For sure. Oh, I love this so much.
I love this.
Okay. well, let's back up just a hot minute. Just simplify. If someone were to come up to you and be like, what is manifestation? What do you tell them?
Thoughts become things.
Oh, that was perfect.
Yeah.
Damn.
Honestly, like, and I'm one of like, it's very rare for me to be able to pick 3 trigger words like that without going down a rabbit hole. But honestly, if someone came up to me, I'd say your thoughts literally become things.
Yeah, 100%. We live in a reality where that is a thing for sure. And it's manifestation found me a long time ago as well. Alignment numbers, all the stuff. It actually found me at a really young age. And then when I was married, it found me, and I was it was, instead of it being more of a, no, this can't work for me. It was this feels so right. But the other person in my life was like, well, duh, if you just think positive thoughts, positive things happen, obviously.
No.
And I'm like, oh, don't make me feel stupid. That always, I mean, there's so much shadow work that was done there to realize that my biggest thing was not feeling smart or not knowing enough. So people making me feel small and stupid was a major trigger for me. And when I finally was able to get out of that, manifestation wins, my clients and I, we get in on every Thursday on a group call and we have wins. And it's not
I love that.
Yeah, it's not even like a bragging sense. When you find that like attracts like, and you're all just trying to be, your best selves, you have manifesting wins. It helps cement that belief that much more.
Literally, you're speaking in my soul. I call it bridging the gap formula with my clients. And if you aren't, because human beings we don't like to be wrong by nature. If you're trying to manifest something and you're not constantly crossing the T's and dotting the I's saying, ooh, I'm getting closer, it's this or something better, this little thing happened today, I think it's coming, it's already delivered, obviously. But if you don't bridge that gap, you're going to give up and think that nothing's working. So that's why they say when you first start manifestation, start with something small, like a cup of coffee or a parking space or whatever, which I did. And I remember being like, and with this podcast, I manifested this. And then it turns into, you realize that it's a really strong power and that you can honestly have anything you desire. And once you crack that code, it's like, it's true.
I'm currently busy in abundance. I've called them growth cries the last few days, when you're so incredibly uncomfortable that it's just like you cry and you have to let all that shit out. Because my manifestations have happened a little bit faster than we realized. I actually, honestly, we put full bore. I give it all to Kirsten, my fiance. She's a reflector. She meditated once and just boom, everything she manifested came. She meditated twice. Boom. And I'm like, we're just going to need you to keep meditating. That'd be cool.
It's so funny. Yeah.
And we're currently in the process. Okay. So I have a retreat this weekend for my one-on-one mastermind clients. We have a whole meditation retreat. So I'm a meditation teacher, mindfulness teacher, energy healer. We do all of the healing, beautiful, fun stuff, reprogramming of the mind. And it's a business retreat. So it's meant to you're going to get clear on so many things, and it's a refresh and a revamp. And when we manifest, we're very much living. It's so easy to just remember, we're living in a higher consciousness, right? We're just trying to create our reality. We aren't our body, but the retreat is used twice a year to come back down and reconnect with your body and listen to what it's telling you. And to remind yourself to do that. And so we have the retreat this weekend. We're also getting married this weekend at the retreat.
Congratulations. I know you told me. Yeah.
So that's the least stressful thing in my life right now. That's the least stressful thing in my life right now. We're also in escrow for a house that we manifested. And this is my big, I have manifestation wings, some creepy and weird one, but that has to be my biggest.
We have to do an episode on just the creepy and weird ones, because that's when it gets really funny.
we started writing them down because we're like, we have to write these down. These are great. But this house was 300. I had this feeling one night. It was one night and I was waiting for my approval letter. And as a business owner, it's a pain in the ass to get any sort of loan. And for me, and I mean, this is a little side note tangent for you to know for perspective. So I was married for almost 10 years, stay-at-home mom, and I have 3 boys. I was a military spouse. I then came out as gay and got divorced during the pandemic of 2020. Having to find a house as a single mom with no job history, do all that stuff during the pandemic, as it all started, was just, that was my spiritual awakening. That was Yep. And it was okay. I had to move out and I needed to figure out a life for my own. And I got a day job and I was,
Got goosebumps.
yeah, I had 3 kids. I was now a single parent. I was not living home because we were a military family. We live across the country. I'm from Minnesota. We live in Florida. And during all of this,
Florida too.
yeah, where are you?
St. Augustine.
Okay, well, I know where that is.
Keep going. This is good.
I'm between Pensacola and I'm up by Pensacola on the cooler side.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so all of that happened, and at this point, this is my fitness business. My fitness nutrition business was my second business I started. I had a mobile spray tanning business, which I loved as a stay-at-home mom. I closed that down during the divorce and everything like that because I kind of moved my stuff into that room during all of it, and went and got a day job that did not pay my bills. And after 3 months, I said, fuck it, quit it, went full-time with my own business last year. And then now, I mean, I had my first $30,000 launch of like a month and a half later. So it was one of those like, and you just keep feeling the pull and you step into it. Well, with this beautiful little house that we were like, all right, I just knew about a month and a half ago. I'm like, I'm going to buy a house this year. People are like, yes. What? I'm like, I just don't, all of a sudden, everything about the house that I'm renting, I don't care about because I'm like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I hate mowing this yard because I'll be in my new house soon. Like,
future pace it, girl. You're like, it's a done deal. It's already done.
Yeah. The weird thing I try to like distinguish the difference between anxiety and intuition. Anxiety takes up a lot of space in your body. Intuition you just know. It just,
you just know.
That was one of those things for me. And we were waiting for the letter of pre-approval. Basically, like with housing market right now, in 24 hours, everything that was posted is probably gone.
Yep.
And so I was like, okay, it's weekend, which means I'm not going to get a pre-approval letter till pre-approval letter till next week. We already looked at houses and it sucked because we didn't have the letter to make an offer. So I'm not going to look. We're just not going to look. It's fine. Saturday came and I, middle of the night, couldn't sleep. And I was like, I'm going to look at houses above my price range because I have a feeling one's going to drop. And I find this house, I shit you not. I look right at Kirsten. I was like, this one's going to drop into our price range. She's like, that's $19,000 above our price range. There's no way unless there's something wrong. And then we don't want that house. And I'm like, all right, that's fine. Monday morning hits. It's 6:20 in the morning and I get the pre-approval letter. And at 6:25, the house drops $20,000. That house dropped $20,000 into my price range. Of course it does.
Of course it does.
We text the realtor. We go see it that afternoon. We put an offer in on this house. I'm like, worst case scenario, what? They say no, right? This house made me feel so right. It just made me feel right. And it's really cool because the backyard goes right up to a national forest. So it's just like quiet and just stupid beautiful. But so another offer gets put in, a cash offer is put in on this house. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm excited for them, for the people, whoever gets this house. Like, that's exciting.
You smart girl.
Yeah. And they were like, do you want to counter offer just in case? I'm like, no, I'm already maxed out. Like, this is what I'm comfortable spending. If somebody else gets this, that means, that's always the universe. Like if they take something away, the universe is like, yes. I got something better. So every time that happens, I'm like, all right, bet. Like
letting go equals letting in. Yes.
Yeah. So they call us, and they're like, they took our offer. And we're like, why did you take our offer over the cash offer? Well, the selling realtor is a mentor to our loan officer, our loan guy. She's like, he's like my little brother. I'm teaching him everything he knows. I didn't know you guys were working with him. And she convinced the sellers to take our offer because she knew our loan officer.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you can't make that shit up.
Yeah, no, and it keeps going and it keeps deeper. Well, now, of course, because this happened and this happened, all of a sudden we need 3 times more money. And, between the paying for the wedding and then paying for the retreat and all that stuff, you start to
spending and earning with ease is so much better than clinging onto your money with dear. That was another really big thing I learned with manifestation. It was like spending and earning with ease. And just spending like you have money, even when being grateful for the money that you do have and being grateful for the money that's already coming your way.
Yeah.
That was a big thing for me. And then my money started like two timesing itself because I was spending it in the right places, but I was also just showing up differently. I wasn't coming from a place of lack. Like
you were spending it with the right energy rather than spending it for fear. You were spending it with joy, love, and trust.
Of course I'm going to make it back, and I do that when I invest in mentors. I'll invest because
oh my God,
I'm one of those, I'm constantly investing, constantly hiring mentors. And when I invest in them, I'm always like, I'll make it back at the first month, or I'll make a specific manifestation when I'm going to make the money back, and it happens. And another manifestation story I have to tell you is I actually met my boyfriend because I wrote him a letter in my journal, and I was like, cheers to this being my last month single. I'm going to meet a guy. We're going to move to a different country together in a tropical forest. He has tattoos. He's a surfer. I can't wait to meet you on October 1st. And our 1-year anniversary is actually on October 1st because I literally met him. I wrote letters to him and he knows it. I wrote letters to him. Like, I can't wait to meet you, but I'm going to have so much fun my last couple of weeks single. Like, I know I'm going to meet you soon. And then we were talking on Tinder for 5 years. But I never met him. I kept canceling and canceling and canceling and canceling. And I was in bikini prep and I was like, no, I'm so masculine. Like, I don't have time to go on a date right now. And then, it ended up happening down to the day, like met him. We went to Costa Rica together. We were on the exact balcony lookout that I was visualizing. I just saw myself with the guy with brown hair and tattoos on a balcony in a jungle. And that's exactly what ended up happening.
Yeah. That beautiful little, that little vision that you had there, just sliding through timelines, just like knowing. I
can't differentiate between what's real and what's fake. So by painting those pictures, you do that enough, it's going to happen.
Oh, absolutely. And it's so funny that you say all those things. It's really not funny because there's no such thing as coincidences. I manifested my girlfriend, my fiance, girlfriend thing, person, for sure. I wrote down everything that I thought I deserved and more. And that included one of those people who was sober, and she was 7 years sober. Like, it was,
you know what to look, you become a vibrational match for that. And it's like, she already existed. She was already in your aura, right? She was already there. That's the thing. When you were writing those qualities about her, she was already there, which is the element in manifestation is. It's already right in front of us. We just don't recognize it because we don't take the time to actually write out, what do you desire in a partner? Sounds like such a woo-woo thing, and it works because then as you sit and sort your way through life and have all these different experiences, you actually know which ones are, oh my God, that's her, or that's him, or that's it. It's so
you don't manifest what you want, you manifest what you are. So you have to create and it's the same thing with money. Like when you talked about how start little, that's what I have with my clients with money. I'm like, manifesting $5,000 is just as easy as $5. It's the belief that keeps you blocked. So I'm like, start small. Let's start really small. And then it starts working. And all of a sudden I get checks in the mail. I get this and I get that. And when I started panicking about this house, all of a sudden it went from this down payment to doubled to then tripled twice. I was like, there is no way that the universe gave me this beautiful little opportunity that came really just beautifully without the way to be able to fund it and abundant it. So I'm like, I'm going to step up and I'm going to manifest the money to pay for this fucking house.
There you go, literally.
Yeah. I was like, it's going to be a thing. We're going to pay for the house, the wedding, the retreat, also a lawyer. Cause that's
if you didn't take that, that's the thing when you're quantum leaping, or even when that has such a so much power behind the word quantum leaping, but even when you're just learning to manifest for the first time, when it's working, small or big or whatever, when it's ride that fucking wave.
Oh yeah.
So that pushed you out of your comfort zone, and by you acting like the person that could afford that, you became the person that could afford that. And then when push came to shove, you're like, of course I can fucking afford this house. It forced you to level up into a different realm of receiving. And now it's like,
absolutely different realm of receiving. I'm going to write that one down because that one's pretty good. This is why I love recording. We're obviously recording a podcast, but I record my client sessions too, because I'm like, we'll say shit and we're like, that was so good. You have to write that down. And my ADHD ass will never remember what we just said. And half the time I can't read my own, handwriting anyways. So it's really good just to record things. What do you think are some of the biggest misconceptions when it comes to manifesting, or the myths that come around it? I have so many, but I want to hear what yours are.
I have so many. That you can't ever have any negative thoughts.
Yep.
A lot of people are like, oh
Toxic positivity.
I literally have had clients, which they'll say something to me, you know, oh my gosh, I'm afraid I'm going to, you know, this negative thought's going to end up turning into this thing. It's like Abraham Hicks always says, you have 17 seconds to reframe a thought before it starts actually compounding in the spiritual realm. And so it's a simple reframe, but so back to your point, I would say that negative thinking cannot exist. Negative emotion is feedback. I believe that we all have a 2.0 version of ourselves that's sitting in our heart, wherever she or he or it sits. And whenever you deviate off plan and you experience negative emotion, that's feedback telling you you need to do something different. You need to make a move, or maybe if it's not this, it's something better. So tuning into your emotions and realizing that negative thoughts aren't going to ruin your manifestation process is really important. And then probably, just that, like, it's not possible for me, and every single person can manifest. That's a huge
every single person is manifesting. That's one thing that's just like, I'm like, open your eyes, love body.
It's either working for, again, it's working for you or against you. I don't like to say the against part, but it exists whether you want to believe in it or not. And once I was so stuck in corporate America, like crying in my cubicle and just so unhappy and so like bad money mindset, just in a really bad state. I remember I went and bought an Abraham Hicks book from Barnes and Noble. And
I love Abraham Hicks.
Oh gosh, she's
It's a little different. It's a little different when you pick up one of those books. You're just like, damn.
Yeah, anyone listening, if you want to listen to Abraham Hicks, her YouTube channel's absolutely amazing. You'll have to listen to her videos 2 or 3 times before they land.
Every single time you listen to it, you hear it with a different way. That's the way. It's our passive aggressive way here of when we say something, I have to repeat it later on, and it takes a while for them to get it. I'm like, oh, I said you just weren't ready to hear it. Like you weren't ready to hear it when I said it the first time. Yeah. Every time I listen to, like, I'll get one of her, like even on TikTok, one of her video or the voice memos. And I'm like, oh yeah, that one hit me real hard this time.
And it's interesting because she interrupts people as they are going down a negative spiral. I'm like in her YouTube comment section talking to everyone about it. They're like, do you notice how she interrupts every single person? I'm like, honestly, that they say you shouldn't rant yourself into a negative place with manifestation. That was another thing that I did in my manifestation journey. I stopped talking bad about stuff. I stopped calling friends to complain. I stopped talking to my family. Oh, I'm so stuck. I really started watching my language. And so for her, when you're spiraling, she will just stop you dead in your tracks, which I love.
I haven't noticed that, but it's so funny because I probably don't notice it because that's literally what I do. Yeah. And I chalk it up to my ADHD. Like if I don't get the thought out, it'll be gone.
Yeah, my clients know that too on our sessions. I warn them. I'm like, hey, if you're going down a spiral, we're not going to ride that wave the whole session.
Yeah, I'll just be like, hey, I'm just going to need you to be present with me for a moment, because most of the time people are living in a feared future versus the present moment. And yeah, the rant yourself into that's beyond accurate, because your ego mind just keeps you spiraling and spiraling and spiraling until you hit a self-sabotaging cycle. And then you're stuck and you're wondering why you're stuck. I don't know why I bleeped myself out there, but I did. Random moment. Yeah, I think one of the biggest misconceptions I always say is like, it's the negative feelings. Your feelings are always valid in your perception. And they're just, I explain them as like they're the dash on your car, like they're the lights. They're just trying to tell you something about the current experience you're having, and they help you navigate what's going on.
Ooh, the car.
Yeah. Your emotions are just there to help you navigate and tell you something. And you have to listen to your body to be able to, for it to tell you whatever it's going, because what's coming is going. But if you don't allow it to come, it cannot go. So when we shove those emotions down and we're wondering, okay, Kat, well, like attracts like, why am I attracting all these shitty people or these shitty experiences, but I'm just saying nothing but positive things? It's like, well, what 80% of your vibrational frequency is given off in your subconscious. And if you have trauma and a bunch of shit you're shoving back in there and repressing into your shadows, you're going to just only attract those things. And most of the time, people are not willing to take responsibility for their life, their action, and the reality that they're creating. They want to just victimize it and put it off and everybody else did it. Yeah.
And I tried it too. So I'm allowed to beautifully call people out, but you can't manifest from victimhood.
No.
I call it the empowered AF formula in my academy, but it's like, you have to move from being at the effect side of everything, right? And moving to, okay, I'm fully at cause. I am where I am because I am where I am. I'm not where I am in my business because of the economy. I'm not where I am in my business because people just aren't clicking. It's like, we have to really take ownership, and it's heavy sometimes being like, I am where I am because I'm there for a reason, but that's where you find beauty in the chaos, and you're able to make the changes that you need to make in order to step back into being a co-creator.
Yeah. Busy in abundance is what I call it. People are like, what are you doing? How's it going? I'm like, busy in abundance. Like I'm thankful and grateful and all the things, but I am well aware that this growing pains. I'm so uncomfortable right now.
Yes.
Like, you can acknowledge all of the shitty feelings you're having while still being grateful for the experience that you're going through.
Yeah. And more women and more men and just more people in the world need to freaking normalize the process of having a spiritual awakening. It is not rainbows and butterflies and shit, or else it's not an awakening. It is you're staying stagnant. It's like when you're having those random breakdowns and you're crying and you feel like you're losing yourself, it's because you're unbecoming everything that you thought you had to be in society.
You're grieving. You are in a constant state of grieving of the old self and having to let that go. And yeah, it's people are like, yeah, spiritual awakening, so great. And I'm like, my soon-to-be sister-in-law, she is probably the most woo-woo person I know. I love her so much. Crystal healer, all the fun things. And she's working on dating, all that stuff. And I'm like, you need somebody who's already awakened, not somebody that you like. It's just from my experience, when you meet couples and one person spiritually awakens, either the other one does naturally as well, or the relationship just no longer ceases to exist. It ends.
Yep.
And so I'm like, one of your interview questions needs to be like, so when did you hit rock bottom? Haven't hit it yet? All right, come back to me once you've hit rock bottom.
I'm stealing that. That is really fucking good.
Like, you haven't had the awakening, you haven't navigated stuff. No, I'm not going to help you through that. I'm here just to help mirror all the shit that you need to heal and grow, but I'm not going to do it for you.
No. And when it happens too. If you have to ask yourself, is this an awakening? It's not. It's like, because you start researching stuff.
And I can't even imagine having a spiritual awakening before all of technology and everything came to play, because you just feel crazy. You feel insane.
Oh my God. I have never thought of that concept. And that is truly terrifying, because my journey started with a Google search. I literally Googled, how do you pull yourself out of like tough shit?
Yeah.
And I started researching, and it's like,
we
didn't have access to that. Oh my gosh. You would feel so alone.
Google is my best friend. My profile 1-3, I'm the investigator. I have to go investigate and learn everything in my human design. That's like part of my profile. And I was like, yeah, that's accurate. I literally, I saw a breathalyzer, and I had to go Google and figure out exactly what chemicals that they test in the breathalyzer and how it can test it, because I just needed to know. You
needed to know.
I just needed to know. But yeah, the cause and effect thing, I thought was really cool that you said that, because when it popped up in my energy when you said that, it's like shifting from victim mentality, which is the cause and I am the effect. So the shitty economy makes my shitty, my business not be plentiful and abundant.
Yeah.
It's shifting from that to being the cause of the effect that you want to create.
Yes.
You're not in the effect anymore. You're sitting in the cause, in the fully 100% responsible for everything. And I don't say the driver's, it's kind of the driver's seat. I say you're kind of in the passenger seat. When I have 8 different analogies for manifesting.
Yeah.
One of them is the passenger seat, where you're in the passenger seat and you get to
pick. Too.
Yeah, you get to pick the destination. You just don't get to choose how to get there.
Yeah.
You just have to allow things to get there. The other one I have the dinner plate, but I really love, the clearing the plate one, that has to kind of be one of the best, is
tell me that one.
Yeah, your life, and the only reason I say it's my favorite or my best, quote unquote, air quotes, you guys can't see me, it's because I say it with my clients. I feel like weekly, it's clear, you have to clear the table. And what that is the world, you're at the table and you're eating and you got all these dishes and you decide, hey, you want to manifest something. So you're going to go to the waiter and you're going to order dessert. Like, hey, I'd like to order dessert. Well, then you let go and you trust, right? You just know, you trust, you keep eating your food now to clear the, you keep finishing everything that's going, you keep showing up, doing the work. You're not just manifesting and sitting around and being lazy. Massive myth. People just think if you just say things, you don't have to do things. You have to, intention is the biggest key when it comes to quantum physics of all of it.
Yes.
But,
law of action, you can't just do law of attraction. You have to use all the 12 universal laws.
All of them. They're so important. And
but yeah, you just know the dessert's going to get there.
Yeah, you have to know the dessert's going to get there, but and you're not bugging the waiter. You're not like, hey, wait, where's my cheesecake? Like, it's where is it going? But he's not going to bring you your dessert until you clear all the dirty dishes. You have to clear the table. You have to trust and know that what you put out there is going to come to you. As long as you get on and put in the work, you eat all your food, you clean the plates, but you also have to clear all the shitty dishes and clear what's no longer serving you before dessert can even come.
Yep.
Because what happens when dessert comes and you have nowhere to put it?
Yep.
So I
love that. I'm gonna have to use that. That's good. Please. I use the Amazon delivery one. I've heard something kind of similar to that, but not to that extent. But it's so true. It is so true. You can't just keep, is it gonna come? Is it gonna come? It's like, no, making energetic space for your manifestations is so important as well. And trusting. Yep.
The trust and surrender is the hardest part. And that's what I have to remind my clients. I'm like, you're like that thing that you were holding on to so dearly that hurts that when it leaves, like when you have clients that leave, I have clients that are like, oh my gosh, I lost 3 clients. And I'm like, it's just the table clearing.
Letting go equals letting in. Yep.
Yeah, you can't. I love that.
I use it all the time. It's like letting go of stuff is really, letting in the stuff that's meant to be there. And I actually have that happened in my business too. I lost a fitness client a year and a half ago for $900, really dear client, still good friends to this day. She went on and did bikini prep. And then later that day, I closed my first $15,000 deal with a soul sister client. And I, in between those 2 calls, I remember crying, it wasn't about the money, but I lost this client, my fitness client. I loved her. This hurts. And I just told myself, letting go equals letting in. You're unshedding, you're stepping into a new arena. It's going to work out. And then soul sister client, life coaching, manifestation client. Hey, I want to learn life coaching, manifestation. I'm like, oh my gosh, jackpot. So you have to be willing to let go of the things that are clogging your aura, people, places, habits, behaviors. You have to let go of that old story in order to let the new stuff in.
And if you didn't have that moment in between where you felt it all and just let it go and then just like settled, that soulmate client wouldn't have come in at all. If you were just like desperate, holding on, freaking out, and just shut it down, be like, nope, I'll be fine. It's like, well, that just creates resistance.
I wouldn't have shown up in that right energy. I would have been like, no, stay here. She's right. Your business is moving into manifestation. It's too soon. Stay here. And I'd be talking about just macros and nutrition on my stories. And I full off send it. And I went all in. And then all of a sudden you start getting noticed for stepping into who you actually are and being true to who you actually are. Authenticity is so important when it comes to manifestation success in a business specifically.
Yeah. You can't expect to connect with your following and your ideal clients if you can't connect with yourself. Mm-hmm. So it's learning how to be authentic with yourself. And that's it's 2 things that I always say. Yeah. It's 2 things that people always tell you, but they never teach you is be authentic and how to learn to deal with negative emotions. No one teaches you how to cope with negative emotions.
No, you don't. Yeah.
So those are like those 2 things. And you're like, what do you mean be authentic to who you are? And that's where, it's you're gonna totally get it.
Yeah. You're going to feel so off if you're wearing a mask.
And everybody's wearing a mask until you realize it's on. And then you have to take it off because of how society has programmed you to be is to see things from a very certain way. And then you start to unlearn all the things that you're not. And you're like, oh my God, I'm a spiritual, magical being. Every single time I manifest something, I run around this house. I'm like, I'm a witch, guys.
Yes. Literally, that is exactly how it feels. I was in like a witch club in 4th grade, and it's one of those things that you're in and then you forget about it.
Yeah.
I'm a manifestation coach now, and I'm like, all the signs were there.
I know. I have the same feelings, but for me, it's just about being gay. Like I had my grandma who called me like, we should have known. And I'm like, I know. We all should have known. Like there's so many signs, and you're like, gosh, like. But yeah, my energy is just so high. I'm going to get so many things done today, like off of a call like this. It feels great.
I know. I love
like
it.
attracts like, and that's why, when I saw you were a fitness coach and then also into manifestation, I'm like, Jesus Christ, somebody else who did the same thing I did. Cause I jumped into positive psychology. So I do the Reiki energy healing, positive psychology practitioner. So I work to rewire your brain for more positive, spontaneous thoughts to be able to manifest better. A lot of my girls are still grasping the concept of manifestation. So, I mean, I'd love if it's something that you feel called to at all, if you would like to come for maybe guest coach for my girls sometime, I would love that. Awesome. Come in and talk about manifestation for one of our group calls one night. Or 1 week. That would be super cool. Network, like attracts like, all the things. I would love that.
You can come speak to the academy also.
I would love that. I love guest coaching. I still do it a lot for fitness coaches in that space because I still know so many about self-love and vulnerability. But I love that. So it's getting women to take back their self-worth and stop holding it in like the validation that men give them it's my shit. I will. I get hyped. I get hyped.
When you find that shiny thing, like I'm a master NLP coach.
I love NLP. That shit is so cool.
It's so amazing. I just got back from masters. When was that? Oh my gosh, I guess 4 months ago now. But
just got back 4 months ago.
Yeah, right. Oh, I'm horrible with dates. But yeah, so I just ended up going through the master level, and it's like what we were saying about human design. Studying the subconscious mind is a never-ending rabbit hole that you want to go down.
Yep.
Master your subconscious mind, change your subconscious mind, you will full on change your life. And
100%.
Yeah, it was the best decision I ever made was getting into mindset and manifestation, hands down. That's the biggest thing that entrepreneurs need to know, is that the strategy can't work at all without mindset and manifestation. No strategy will work. It needs to be, everyone says 80% mindset. I would honestly say 90% mindset.
I would say it's even more. See, it's such an interesting game when it comes to your internal stuff, because people are like, yeah, my mindset's so important, it's so cool, like, but you could still make money, blah blah blah. I'm like, hey guys, you could full blown try to run an entire business totally on your own. I mean, 8 out of 10 fail within the first 18 months. So why set yourself up to fail? Make sure you have all the people around you that you can. But I'm like, if you were to, let's say, create, like, have the full blown goal that you want to manifest and create in your life, you can't create that until you match it. And you can't match that till you reprogram what it is that you are and who you are, and that you're worthy of that. And reprogramming your brain. Forgiveness. I have a
forgiveness
whole module.
Me too. It is
forgiveness as a tool for the CEO is what I have.
I love that. Yeah. I can never say it right. Ho'opono, the Hawaiian.
Oh yes. Yeah. I don't know how to say that right. I could spell it because of photographic memory.
It is hard to say.
Yeah. That one, that came into my life in that weird little funny manifesting way. Like I noticed it popping up everywhere. And then I finally was like, all right, what is it? Like, I'll go look.
You have to forgive yourself, or else you're not going to feel worthy.
You can create everything in your life if you just reprogram the inside.
Yeah. Whoever's listening right now, if you want a quick, I don't like the word homework, but like a growth work assignment, put on an awesome song tonight and write out 20 things that you forgive yourself for.
Yep. Literally. Oh, I do a very similar thing with shadow work. Like writing yourself an I'm sorry letter.
Yes.
Like, I'm sorry for not doing this. And then you forgive yourself for it. But forgiveness is one of those things that we have a hard, just like gratitude. I call it superficial gratitude. It's really easy to say you're grateful, but actually experience gratitude is a very difficult thing, because you have to bust through the imposter syndrome of, oh, I actually achieved this on my own. It wasn't happenstance. Like, it wasn't just a cool opportunity that happened. Like, you actually achieved it. So feel freaking grateful for all the things that you're doing. But people are like, yeah, I mean, I'm grateful. I'm like, but are you feeling gratitude? They're like, no, I don't know what that feels like. I'm like, well, then we need to figure out a way and where gratitude pops up in your body and why it's blocked and you're not feeling it. That's all the things.
Yeah, current gratitude, really feeling it, and then doing a future gratitude list. That's what I give to
Ooh, future
myself.
gratitude list. I love that.
Yes, I give them all a manifestation roadmap. And I used to do them every single month. You can do them weekly or daily. It's just another manifestation like ritual, but in there's a future and current gratitude list. And it's so important. Like when I was in corporate America and I started being really grateful for the fact that they were paying me money to buy personal development books. I thought that was so rad and so badass. And I was so grateful.
That is so cool.
Right. I was like, this company that I really, I want to start my own thing, but they're paying for me to build this dream life. And that felt good. Started showing up at work differently. And then I built the business from a place of, I'm grateful for the money that I have right now. I know that there's more coming, but like what I have in my vortex right now is an F yes. I'm grateful for every single thing I have. And Abraham Hicks also says, I learned this from her, but waking up in the morning and right before you go to bed, right? Direct hit to the subconscious mind.
Oh yeah.
So that is another really good one. Don't go to sleep angry. Don't wake up angry. The way you end your day and start your day, you want to be in a good mindset. If it means watching funny YouTube videos, whatever the case may be, drifting off to sleep, walking around your dream life is something that I always do. I see myself in a different country with, certain clothing and finger tattoos, which is a weird thing for me that I'm manifesting right now. But
it's
like,
not because I'm getting finger tattoos tonight.
Actually. Yeah. Are you?
Weird. Yeah. We actually like it just, you could barely see him on here. We did the pens last night because my fiance is a tattoo artist also as well. She's also a sobriety counselor. So she helps people be sober. And I'm her biggest fan. I fangirl over that woman.
I love this.
Every single day, but she is covered in tattoos, like covered. And she did most of them herself. And I'm like, I want finger tattoos for this wedding. Like that needs to be a thing. And so we're doing that tonight.
Oh, I love it. Put photos on your Instagram story after so I can see it.
Oh yeah, full set. A lot of people don't even know we're getting married. It is just like a last minute impromptu, so many other things. It just feels right. Everybody that I want to be there is mainly my clients. And since they're all going to be in one spot anyways, just down the street in this big, beautiful house on the beach, we were like, yeah, let's do it. Let's just do it.
Oh my God, I love it. I'm so excited for you.
I'm just so excited to connect with you. Like this is going to be the blossom of a beautiful friendship. You guys heard it first here on the podcast. The first exchange. Like
our first date.
Yes, first date. I love that so much. Yeah. Is there anything else that we want to pop on or before we pop off to chat about? First of all, where can everybody find you?
Courtney Meadows Fit is my Instagram. The name of my business is Never Settle Sister, which is so funny because I go back and I look at old content from like 2016, 2017, and I'm like, hashtag never settle. Now it's the name of my business. So it's pretty crazy.
That is, I love that though, so much. The never settle, because I love the idea of just never settling, just like the idea of never belonging. You don't want to belong because if you start to belong, that means you're conforming to everybody else around you. You don't want to belong anywhere.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
The whole sense of belonging is not being individual.
That's a program right there.
To you. Yeah, I know. I all day long, I walk around. I'm like, yeah, that could be a whole business just off that. I'm like, that could be an entire, I could just ideas all day long. And so
yes,
my favorite part of my job is that I get to help women not only create like the lead generation, the back office system, all the masculine side of business, but the feminine side of business, and help them pop up with the ideas that help them go and make all the money. I'm like, I'm an idea fairy. I'll help you with the ideas. I'll help you create them. And then you just execute. You just go.
Yes, that is my, as a projector, it's like just being able to guide.
Oh, the projector energy.
Like, it really is just helping the old me get unstuck. And that's how it is. Like, I'm sure for you too, but it's like helping the old me. Yeah. Just, I want to be the lifeline that I didn't have when I was going through what I went through.
Yeah. And it's something I always tell with my clients too. And actually I was writing a whole post about it this morning and I just got distracted, making candles, making Reiki energy healing candles with Reiki infused energy with crystals for my clients for the retreat. So I've been spending all day, like, I know I'm going to crash later because I've just been healing all day long. That's probably why I'm also super vibrant today.
Right. Yeah.
But what I say is, gosh, I got distracted there. We were just talking about
making candles is so good for your
right before that
inner child. You were talking about
what What were you talking about? This is
I
the
don't
story of my
know.
life right now. Seriously, this is the story of my life. I'm like, that idea, the thought I had, it's beautiful. I'm sure it's on a vacation island somewhere. I hope it's happy with its new family because it left my mind.
It choo-choos away on that train track. I always say it'll come back eventually.
Yeah, it will definitely come back.
Yeah, I think
it's
that
something I say often and I don't
biggest
remember what
piece of advice that I would have for women that are trying to grow their business with
Yes.
manifestation, I would say spend more time talking yourself into your dream life and into your dream business and into your dream body, as opposed to talking yourself out of it.
That.
And that was a big thing for me when I started really amping myself up, cheering myself on, talking myself, into a state of abundance and watching my language. I mean, because your beliefs lead to your thoughts, which lead to your feelings, which leads to an action, which leads to a result. And I call it this cycle of technically settling if that belief isn't serving you, right? Or it's the cycle of deciding not to settle anymore. But yeah, your beliefs lead, it's all connected. It truly is all connected, and your beliefs are going to lead you to feeling good, or they're going to lead you to feeling bad. Based on that feeling, you're going to have a specific thought. That thought's going to drive you to take a certain action in your life, or not take any action at all. And then you're going to engage in you're going to get the same thing over and over and over.
Self-sabotaging cycle. Yeah. You have to learn how to go. I remember what I was going to say. Now. Go from something I always talk about with my clients is we're never stuck.
Yes.
Stuck, you're still.
Yeah.
Creating
this in the void. I'm launching a masterclass next week about being in the void. Being in the void in the manifestation process is an awesome place to be. It's when you think, why is nothing happening? Where is all my abundance? Why am I here? It's like the void is a rad place before you get into the vortex. It's not like you're stuck. You're basically just, again, unbecoming everything that you thought you had to be.
Yeah.
And it's going to feel heavy, and you're going to feel lonely and confused and lost. And you're going to feel like you're doing everything wrong, but you're actually starting to
start to feel worse. That's one of those things I have to tell my girls. I'm like, by the way, when you start to create safety in your body to feel the emotions that you've been repressing for so long and open up communication with yourself. So we start to deconstruct all the belief systems, because your reality is created off your belief system, not the other way around. You don't create beliefs off of what you see. That's one of those misconceptions, obviously, as well. But like, the rants, I'm trying to keep myself from going on all these rants.
I know.
Literally talk for days.
We're going to have to do these like regularly.
Yeah, I would love that. I would love that so much, especially when your podcast starts to come out.
I'm so excited
about all the things, because we could talk for days, but it's really I love when you talked about taking yourself talking yourself into the dream state, into that self, because your ego mind will do everything to talk yourself out of it. And when you start to create safety in your body to feel all the emotions, you feel like you're getting worse. You're like, I thought I was healing. Why am I so emotionally, quote unquote, out of control? When actually it's such a good sign, because it means that you're creating safety in your body, and your body feels safe enough to communicate with you. So you're finally feeling feelings. And that's how you manifest things, is you have to get the shit that's in you out that you've been repressing. So everyone's like, I feel worse.
Yes. I love that you just said that. So many people need to realize, like, we need to normalize the process of waking up and what it actually looks like and what you have to go through. And if it doesn't break you down, it's not going to break you through, you really have to. I always tell my clients, like, you kind of have to meet yourself down in that shit. You have to meet yourself in that place that you don't want to look at. And only the brave people look within. Mm-hmm. Only the brave people are the ones that are going to crack open that Google search or that book and just playful curiosity.
You have to have that beginner's mindset.
Yep.
You have to be curious, and you have to dig, and you have to be mindful. Mm-hmm. And normalizing the wake up process. That'd be a great part of the title to this podcast, because that is a whole thing. Right? Of
normalizing the process of waking up.
It's scary, and it's terrifying, and you feel like you're crazy. And that's why it's so important to find like-minded people. It is so important. And the more you spiritually awaken, guys, I don't know why this seems to be a thing. I was attracting it for a hot moment, because I know I needed to strengthen my throat chakra just a bit. But People seem to think if you're spiritually awakened that you're just like the really sweet, forgiving, you become everything with compassion. It's like, I will 100% come at you with compassion, but you disrespect me in any way. My tolerance to deal with bullshit is 0.
Yep.
I no longer deal. We call them, we're recovering people pleasers here.
Yes. I have a whole module about
So do I.
It is a real thing we pick up from our childhood, just like everything else.
Yeah, it's manipulation.
It's chasing validation over chasing authenticity. That's what I always say.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where you have to call yourself out on it a little bit. But it's just when you wake up, you're just like,
and you'll start attracting more people that are like that too. It's like, that's why you have to love yourself before you can fall in love. You have to wake up before you're attracting people that are awake in your arena, and you start getting even more spiritual friends. And I also I hate that there's sometimes like a divide between like, have you awakened yet? It's like, even if you haven't awakened and you're listening to this podcast, like, it doesn't make you any different than us. It just like,
no. Everybody is so equal.
Everything is always right on time.
This
whole
exactly
thing where you're meant to be right now. And that's what I think. And I know you feel that way too, which is why I love you so much. But it's like, everyone's on their own journeys. Everything is connected. Everything is happening in divine timing. And whatever you're going through right now, you're going through it for a reason. And it's leading you to where you're meant to be. But that calling that you have inside of you saying there's something more that's out there for me, it doesn't go away.
No, the truth is consistent and persistent. The truth will keep coming up. Like, I retoned my hair for the wedding this weekend, and I did the same toner that I always use. I've used it for like 6-7 years. I've never changed the routine. And for some reason, my hair turned purple. And I was like, I guess the universe wanted me to have purple hair for my wedding. Obviously, after a few rinses, like, it came all the way out after a few shampoos, a few days. But I was just like, I was literally like, oh my God, I guess it's divine timing. The universe just really wants me to just have purple hair for the wedding. And if that's the way it's
amazing.
Supposed to be.
I literally love your hair.
My hair is very blonde.
You guys can't see it, but if you, obviously,
they follow. It's amazing. Yeah, they follow. But yeah, it's one of those. My hair is my oldest is just white hair. I have very white hair, and we have hard water, so it turns orange. So I have to tone it every so often, and it turned purple. And I was like, well, I'm just gonna let it go. It's fine. It's the learning the process to let go is very difficult. You have to give yourself some forgiveness with that. And I could talk about manifestation and stuff all day long, but where else you're on Instagram mainly, right? Instagram.
Yep. I'm on Instagram, my main hub, but I will have my podcast launching soon. We actually talked about this before we were on live, but the fact that you just have to sometimes start something before it's coming out fully formed, just go. So I'm probably just full send it, but it'll be out soon. And I'm really excited about that, because we can obviously talk about this stuff for days. For days and days. Literally
for days and days. So
that's how you want to feel with your career.
I know. I could talk. If I could record meditations all day, I would. If I could just record podcasts all day, I would. And it's exactly how you should feel. And nothing is easy. It's simple. It's just not easy sometimes. Yep. And that's why I have to remind people, especially business. Business is the most simple thing in the world. Not necessarily easy, but it's so simple. It's stupid. Like, money making, the world is so,
once you're aligned, it's like,
it's stupid easy. Like, I just want to like shake people sometimes and be like, oh my gosh, like, you could, it's not that difficult. But yeah. So, all right, well, let's go ahead and wrap this up. This beautiful content in such a short,
this was good. I felt that to my core.
Yeah, this was the prime example, you guys, of like attracts like. And if you have intuitions or feelings and stuff about things, stop ignoring them. A beautiful exercise I have my clients do is the next time you feel your intuition pop up and you are knowingly going against it, like, I don't know, that ATM is closer than that to ATM. So we're going to drive to that one instead because it makes more sense, even though you were feeling the other one. And then you arrive at that ATM and the bank eats your card and is now out of order. That's a true story from one of my clients, because she acknowledged she went against her intuition. And it turns out everything in your world, everything in your life that really blows up is probably because you were given so many signs and signals and you just kept going against your intuition. You weren't going in your energetic flow.
Yes. And that's why subconscious mind likes speed So I always remind myself, put your hand on your heart, body, what do you need today? Career, what do you need today? Like, Courtney, what do you need today?
Love
And
that.
that first thing that comes up, go with that, right? Because the subconscious mind, there's no, it's a direct hit. It's immediate. When your conscious mind starts kicking in is when you get into trouble, because then it's like, no, stay here, play it safe. It's like I love that you said that, being so tapped in and turned on with your intuition is your compass.
Yeah, we do intuition exercises on group calls with us. It's so fun. We have fun with it. All the mental reprogramming and little tools we do to like just be more positive. And it's like you reprogram your brain for more positivity. It's nothing but positivity around you. And I'm just so happy that I found you. I'm so grateful because like attracts like, and you're a beaming ball of sunshine. So that means I'm a beaming ball of sunshine. Love that for me. And it just, because it's such a trigger when you just meet really shitty people and you're like, why?
Yeah.
And to realize so many things, like it's got nothing to do with you. You start to, everyone's in their own little universe. You have to let things go and create what's right for you. That's my biggest advice for you, is just to get out of your own way. And one of the best tools you can learn is becoming aware of your ways of coping with shitty situations, because that's what puts you into spiraling into it.
Yeah, we only engage in behaviors that we, in some weird way, think that we're benefiting from.
Yep.
Right? So if you go
yeah.
outside of a bar to smoke a cigarette, what are you chasing? What's the benefit you're chasing? Oh, I wanted to get a breath of fresh air. Oh, I didn't like the conversation I was having. I wanted to, it's like we're always doing things like alcohol, whatever, to try to put a Band-Aid on a deeper issue. And it's like, you have to be really mindful. I love that you said behaviors. You have to be really conscious of, in what way am I benefiting from this behavior? I'm actually not benefiting from this at all. This is going directly against my highest good. Subconscious mind, you have to rewire that program and get rid of that negative loop, or else it's going to keep like popping up in your life.
We should have an entire episode about just behaviors and the way it affects your life.
That.
I'm writing it down. Behaviors. Yeah, that's a whole nother wormhole of things.
God, yeah.
Especially coping and healing. Like that's my bitch. Like in the best way. It's like all trauma, like literally my slogan is like, thanks, it's the trauma. Like you're like, you're hilarious. Like it's just all the trauma.
Yeah.
Like,
makes
life spicy.
And to those that are listening now, I mean, another thing that you can do is write down what behaviors are keeping me stuck and what behaviors do I need to let go of in order to reach my next level in my business, or in my life, or in my body, in my relationships, whatever, because 80% of change work is awareness. Is bringing, is learning.
It's all, awareness. That's the biggest thing. It's like, how do you cope? Is it good or bad? How are you doing this? Is it good or bad?
What do I stand for? What do I stand against? Where am I in relation to my goals? Why am I there? Coaching is not content. It's asking powerful questions.
Yes, you are the quality of the questions you ask.
Yes.
I tell my
clients. I
realize
how many questions you have to ask as a coach. Your session should be mainly questions where they're just like, what?
Yep.
Because it's the program is running and it's automatic and you don't recognize it. And that's what's so beautiful about working with a coach, is they can hear your language and help you get yourself out of that spiral before it keeps spiraling.
Yeah.
Watching your language is huge.
Your language, your
30 days without complaining and see what happens. A mentor of mine told me that once. She's like, go 30 days without complaining about anything and see what happens.
I full bore and have my clients do the opposite, where I write down everything that they don't like or they're uncontent about in their life, like their relationship, the amount of money they came in, blah, blah, everything that they want ever complain about. Like the temperature in my house is never cold.
We do that too.
Everything.
Yeah. Putting it in a journal.
And then you take one. Yeah. Then you take 100%. There's somewhere in that you take 100% responsibility for that thing.
Oh, I love that.
Makes it really uncomfortable for you. Your ego mind gets really loud because it's like, well, if your employee, let's say your VA, messes something up, well, or you're late for work. That's a really good one. It's like, well, I hit those red lights and this and that happened. That was not me. It's like, well, at some point in time, you're late for work.
Is a good one.
Because you're 100%. You should be angry. There's some point of it that you're responsible. You didn't leave soon enough. You didn't do,
you have to be at
whatever.
Cause for every single area because it's all connected. And if you're not at cause for being late at work, which seems like something small, you're not going to be at cause for the bigger issues in your life.
And I ask, on my meet and greet calls before I'm very picky on who I allow into my mastermind because it's a very beautiful group of women energetically.
Yes.
And that energy, when you have that bad apple, I've had to fire a client or two before, which is experience everybody should have. So if you have those, like, that's cool. If you haven't, it will come. It's a beautiful thing when you know your own boundaries and your self-worth. But I have those meet and greet clients where I'm just like, so where are you at on these things? And it's the people who don't take responsibility. I'm like, you're not quite ready yet.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a rule of thumb. I don't allow anyone into my containers for their own good unless they're on the cause side of that formula.
Exactly.
I go through the formula and I make them say, I am fully at cause for the results in my life. And I'm like, how does that feel? They're like, I feel empowered.
It's empowering.
I'm like, you passed the test, because you can't work with a client that's not at cause. Everything is going to be, oh, nothing's working. Look at what's happening to me.
Nobody wants to work with those clients.
You have to be fully at cause. Yeah. So
100%. All right. Well, we're going to jump off now before we jump down another rabbit hole. So, again, you guys, I will drop all of her details in the show notes below. Courtney Meadows Fit on Instagram. Please go check her out. Another awesome manifestation coach. Please jump into our DMs, you guys, anytime. Obviously I'm the Free Spirit Barbie on Instagram, TikTok, all the things, but we are not shy people. We want to talk to you like a
Oh, I love. Yeah.
If you find us, please. Yeah, we are not shy. Again, like if you are here for a reason. And if you're feeling that call or pull, please come talk to us, because we genuinely love just connecting with people all over, because people are here to increase the vibration of the planet, to make the world a better place. We're spread out everywhere, and that's on purpose. There's a reason for that. And it's really important that we connect and have that community so we can grow together, because when we have things of similar vibrations that come together, we rise together so much faster.
Yes.
It's empowering.
I love doing like free coaching in the DMs, or just connecting with people in the DMs, because again, what we were saying before, not having that back in the day when you were going through what you were going through, it's like, we need to take full advantage of the fact that there are people in your vortex, whether it's us or whether it's someone else. Use your intuition to guide you, and to have you follow those little nudges of, should I reach out to this person? Should I do this? Should I hire this? It's yes.
You have to. I don't know how to explain to somebody that my lead generation process is, I have a feeling or a nudge about someone, and then I jump into their DMs, and then I get on a call with them, and I'm like, that's just, I listen to myself, and those are my soulmate clients. Like, I'll be like, by the way, what are you doing right now in your life? Because you keep popping up in my energy. We need to figure out why. Like, I just need to know.
That's exactly what I do. You can feel it. You can feel, I'm in my spiritual business academy. We're talking about like how to generate leads, right? And it's like, you're asking the person that literally has someone like her photo and goes, oh, I need this person in my vortex. You can just tell. You can tell.
That's exactly. Totally.
I love that you do it the same way. Fuck strategy.
Yeah, it's exactly that. And that just shows you that it's a collective energy and knowledge that we all tap into. It's not like people, it's knowledge that we all have the access to. You have just to learn how to tune into the frequency. Yeah. And turns out we're all getting the same thing, because that's just how the world works. And people just, once you open your eyes, you can't unsee it. You can only choose to look away. And
I love that.
That sucks when you do. So stop looking away. And if you're here, your eyes are open. I promise you. The only reason you're here, if you're clicking on this podcast, you're either very curious because you haven't woken up, or you are in the process of. And you're welcome. Welcome here, everybody.
It's safe for you to rise.
It is safe. It is scary. We are validating the suck, because it does suck in the best way possible, because being uncomfortable means you're in the right place. So appreciate you.
You're going to feel so off before you feel so on. So normalize it.
Yeah. Normalize the off before the on. Yeah. All right. Appreciate you guys. We will see you next time. And thanks for joining the podcast.